Welcome to Girlfriends Bible Study, a live Bible study with Connie and friends. Each week, Connie and her girlfriends engage in a lively conversation as they read and study Scripture. So, grab a pen, your journal, and your best friend, and enjoy this enlightening Bible study.
Hello, it is 7:30 in California time, although I'm not in California. So normally I am posting my Bible study live at 7:30 Eastern, tonight at 7:30 Pacific. And that is because I have a dear friend visiting me from the Pacific coast. And so we had dinner together tonight and it was wonderful. And we have to make sure that we take time, just, shut it down, spend time with friends. And so my dear friend Libby and her son Harrison and I had a wonderful time having dinner together. I'm so thankful that she's here with me. She and I get to visit with each other, and it is just an absolute blessing. I love my Libby. Anyway, we are sharing tonight. We are talking tonight about breaking repeating patterns. And I will tell you, this conversation has been a repeating conversation. With the lights a little bright, let me turn it down a little bit for me. Hopefully it's not too bright for you. I see that changed the color. Now it looks like I've got on red, but I don't. It's still pink. But anyway, this conversation has been, I've been having it with a dear, dear friend of mine for years. This is making the color go back and forth. All right, I'm going to figure this out. I don't have my whole lighting thing down today. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but breaking repeating patterns. And I've been talking about it. We've been praying about it. We've been talking about it in the prayer groups and with friends and with colleagues and clients and really, making an effort, noticing, first of all, when you have a repeating pattern. And it's not always easy to notice for yourself. Like we can't see forest for trees, but other people can see it. So when you find that you're telling a story and your friend or your good, whoever it is that you're close to starts to get that look, you can say, does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar? Have I done this before? Have you heard this story before? And if they say yes, ask them what happens next and then write it down. So my dear, dear friend, Christina Michelle, and I did that for each other, where we wrote down some repeating patterns that we had with some people in our lives that we just kept going in circles with, doing the exact same thing, getting our hearts broken over and over and over again, just doing it wrong every time. And we wrote down the steps. First, this happens, then that happens, then you say this, then you say, yeah, it's different this time, and then you do that, and we dated it. And then if one of us started to repeat the pattern again, we sent a picture of what we'd written down, like, rinse and repeat. Let me just send that to you. So this has been top of mind for me. I'm trying to make sure that I'm aware of and changing, breaking, redirecting my repeating patterns that aren't good. Now, here's what's funny. When we think about repeating patterns, we often think about the negative, but we have good patterns too. And we're happy to talk about those of, when I do this, when I do a job, when I say I'm going to do something, I do, or whatever it is, right? We're proud of those things that we do really well. When I cook, I clean up while I'm cooking. When I, clean my house, it's so good. Whatever it is, that thing. When I drive, we got lots of good ones. And we know those things about ourselves. We're happy to look in the mirror and see those things. But looking in the mirror and seeing those things that aren't so good, those other repeating patterns that we give a zillion excuses about, that's not always so easy. So here I am doing this, sharing this word over and over again. And then in my memory feed, there was a memory about repeating patterns. And I'm going to start with that. I'm going to read that first before I actually read the scripture that I'm going to read for you guys. I'm a little tired tonight. You can probably see it, but it's okay. So it says, it's talking about the poem, There's a Hole in My Sidewalk. And let's see, a year ago today, my sister shared this poem with me years ago, and then time and time again. We discussed and prayed for patterns on this morning's prayer call. So Again, a year ago, we were praying for this. It's easy to see someone else's, but are you able to see your own? We typically know our good behavioral patterns, but what about those that repeatedly trip us up? Do you constantly lose your keys? Are you always in a financial bind? Do you attract the same type of harmful person again and again? Are you always getting driving tickets? Do you burn your food regularly? I know people will burn their food regularly and they're like, oh, I can't believe I did it again. I'm like, really? You do it every time we talk? What? I knew somebody who got parking tickets so often that the parking tickets each month were more than his car note. Deep. And never saw the pattern, just couldn't get to it. Are your feelings always getting hurt over the same stuff? See, that's the one I had to work on. That right there, I had to work on it. Do you lose documents on your computer over and over again? I had a really great friend who she would do some graphic design work, and every time she would lose the document, the last one, because she saved them all on the desktop. And so, oh, that's not the last version. That's not the last. Like, she didn't think to put them in a folder and then number the versions. She never did that. And so she could never find the most recent. It was so frustrating. Oh my gosh. How many times have you dropped and cracked your phone? You know, I I think I've only ever dropped and cracked my phone one time. And I was doing too much. I was on my phone and I was trying to unlock a padlock and didn't have a pocket and, you know, headset and, you know, tried to, hey, I'm not dropping and cracking my phone on a regular basis. They cost too much money for that. But I know people who have dropped and cracked their phones multiple times. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Do you have the same repeated health challenges? And my good friend, my sweet, sweet friend Lupe, she got tough with me on this. She was like, wait a second, if you know this is an issue, you know that not eating will set off your diabetes and throw off your blood sugar numbers, then what are you doing? Remember to eat, set an alarm. What is the matter with you? She got on me. She basically, and even my dear friend Sato, I kept rescheduling these meetings. Sato, and I had to call him every time. Sato, I'm rescheduling. And he said, do not let the next call to me be about a meeting. I want the next call to be that you have an appointment with your doctor. Because the reason I was rescheduling the meetings is I kept getting sick and I didn't know why. And it turned out, as it happened, that my blood sugar medication was no longer working and I didn't know that. And Sato shut it down, just like Lupe did. Like, I don't want to hear that now one more time. You better take care of your health. I am not having it. I don't want to hear it. Do you know how many times I've heard this? I don't want to hear it again. Hey, and that's what you need. You need somebody who can speak the truth to you in love like that. Are you always being taken advantage of? Are you that person? See, I knew they were. I knew this always happens to me. Really? Really? Okay, you need to take a look at that. If you're not sure what your negative self-defeating patterns are, ask someone close to you. They know, just like you know theirs. What can you do to break the cycle? The first step, like in AA, is recognizing you have a problem. Start with that. Then declare, I am not falling in that same hole anymore. Then make a list of what you can do to avoid it. What can you do differently? What does a different path look like for you? So real quickly, this is an autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia Nelson. It's super short, and it's called There's a Hole in My Sidewalk. And ironically, last week, Friday, I happened to even read this for one of my clients. And then I sent it to him because there are sometimes repeated patterns in the workplace that are self-defeating. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend that I don't see it. I fall in again, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Oh, it says, I can't believe I am in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Powerful, powerful, powerful poem. And I will actually share to my, real quickly, I'm just gonna post that, my memory post from last year. Make sure you guys can see it. And that's the gist of the message. But I just want to remind you from a scriptural standpoint. So I didn't have a chance to look up the proverb. I don't know the scripture reference, but I'll put it in the chat or in the comments. But it says, like a dog who returns to his vomit is a fool who returns to his folly, which is really gross, to be honest with you. And I'd hate to think that my repeating patterns are like a dog returning to its vomit. That's really kind of nasty. But even the scripture says it. That's in Proverbs. We got to be aware of our repeating patterns. We have to be aware of our repeating patterns. So I've read this scripture before. I'm not going to read the full story. I'm just going to synopsize it. I'll read a little bit of it just so you can see the portions that are exactly the same. This is about Samson and Delilah. But it starts before Samson even meets Delilah. Samson had repeating patterns, and he didn't fix them, and they led to his demise. They led to his death. But in Judges chapter 14, that's when he met his wife. So he was actually married. He saw some girl. He decided, I've seen a Philistine woman, and now get her for me. I want her to be my wife. And father and mother were like, isn't there an acceptable woman among your own relatives? Yuck. Or well, you know what I mean, though. Or among all our people. Like, why has it got to be this Philistine woman? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife? Because they weren't good people. But he decided, no, I need this one. And you could tell clearly Samson was flesh-led. He saw what he wanted. He couldn't resist it. It didn't occur to him to try to make a spirit decision, not a brain-led decision. He saw it, he wanted it, that was the end of it. So he marries this woman. Now, keep in mind, at one point, there was a lion, and he was so strong, as you know, and his strength was in his hair. There was this lion that I guess came at him, and he ripped the lion in half. And it said he ripped it like it was a young goat, which is really gross still, but he could rip a lion in half. And then sometime later, when he went back to marry this Philistine woman, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass. In it was a swarm of bees and some honey. Now that would have turned me away, as y'all know, because I don't do bees, but not Samson, that's fine. So he scooped out some honey with his hands and ate as he went along. He made a feast there. He was given 30 companions, and he decided to tell them a riddle, these people here in the Philistine country. Let me tell you a riddle, Samson said to them. If you can give me the answer within the 7 days of the feast, the marital feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. Tell us your riddle, they said. Let's hear it. He replied, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. For 3 days, they could not give the answer. On the 4th day, they said to Samson's wife, all right, now this is laying the groundwork for what happened with Delilah. He's not making any kind of connection. So they said to Samson's wife, coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to rob us? Then Samson's wife threw herself on him, sobbing, you hate me. You hate me. You don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer. I haven't even explained it to my father and mother, he replied, so why should I explain it to you? She cried the whole 7 days of the feast. So on the 7th day, he finally told her. Samson. This is when his repeating pattern begins, at least when we first start reading about it. He finally told her because she continued to press him. She, in turn, explained the riddle to her people. Before sunset on the seventh day, the men of the town said to him, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" Samson said to them, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." And he got mad. So he struck down some men, stripped them of their belongings, gave the clothes to those who explained the riddle. And it says, you don't even want to know, it got worse from that point, okay? So now keep in mind, Samson has laid this path of, I want this woman, and now this woman is sobbing, emotionally drawing me in, crying. So I have no choice but to give in to whatever she's asking. Flesh-led and then heart-led, because I don't want to see her cry. I don't want to see her cry. So he told her. But then Samson met Delilah. One day Samson went to Gaza. This is Judges 16, where he saw a prostitute. He went in to spend the night with her. The people of Gaza were told, "Samson is here." So they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the city gate. They made no move during the night, saying, "At dawn, we'll kill him." But Samson lay there only until the middle of the night. Then he got up and took hold of the doors of the city gate together with the two posts and tore them loose, bar and all. He lifted them to his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Okay, now, this is where they saw his strength. They saw it then, and that's why they mentioned, and I mentioned he was flesh-led. Sees a prostitute, he decides he's got to be with her, and then they want to kill him, and then he's got to do all this other stuff and show his bravado and how strong he is and all of that. So then, if you look at verse 4 of chapter 16 of Judges, it says, "Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines," these doggone Philistines yet again, "went to her and said, 'See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength and how we can overpower him so we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver.'" That's a bunch of money. I don't know how much money it was, a bunch. So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." She didn't even she didn't say, "Baby, you're so strong. How'd you get so strong?" Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued. Samson answered her. Now, granted, he lied, but the fact that it didn't immediately trigger a red flag, I have a problem with that. Samson, don't forget that wife you were married to who did the thing. But no, Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh thongs that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Just making stuff up, but he answered her. But here's the thing. Then the rulers of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh thongs that had not been dried, and she tied him with them. With men hidden in the room, she called to him, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But he snapped the thongs as easily as a piece of string snaps when it comes close to a flame. So the secret of his great strength was not discovered. Then, look at this, verse 10. This is when I'm like, come on. It reminds me, I've been watching Psych. They say, "Come on, son. Come on, son." Delilah said to Samson, "You have made a fool of me. You lied to me. Come now, tell me how you can be tied." "Why? I just told you a lie and then you did it. Why am I going to tell you?" Still, no red flag. He lied again, though. He said, "If anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any other man." So Delilah took new ropes and tied him with them. Then, with men hidden in the room, she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. But he snapped the ropes off his arms as if they were threads. Delilah then said to Samson in verse 13, until now, you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied. This is the third time now. Why are you still sleeping with this woman? Why are you even talking to her? Every single time you tell her anything, she uses it against you. You ever known that frenemy, that person, that every time you tell them something, next thing you know, Connie, that's just like when you said so-and-so. Remember how you used to do such and such? You don't tell that person anything anymore. They are donezo. That's one of those repeating patterns. Once they do that, gotta cut them loose. Come on, son. But what happened? Now this third time, right? He replied, if you weave the 7 braids of my head into fabric on the loom and tighten it with the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. So while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head, wove them into the fabric, and tightened it with the pin. Again, she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He awoke from his sleep and pulled up the pin and the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, verse 15, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? What is this? It's gaslighting, right? Isn't that gaslighting? This is the third time. Yeah, this is the third time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was tired to death. So he told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head, he said, because I have been a Nazirite, set apart to God since birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me and I would become as weak as any other man. When Delilah saw that he had told her everything, she sent word to the rulers of the Philistines, come back once more. He has told me everything. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands, having put him to sleep on her lap. Y'all know, it's in the Bible, I'm just saying, but y'all know. She called a man to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and so began to subdue him, and his strength left him. Then she called, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. That's a repeating pattern too. He awoke from his sleep and thought, I'll go out as before and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza. Binding him with bronze shackles, they set him to grinding in the prison. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Now, he ended up dying. He was able to get his strength back just one last time to be able to take them all down. But here's the thing. That was the 4th time with Delilah, not counting the first time with his wife. And these women beguiled him. They cried, they pleaded, they prodded, they sobbed, they did all the things, and he didn't pay attention to the pattern. I don't understand with Delilah. I mean, if you say, you know what, if you put my hands like this, I'm gonna die. And then somebody walks up and puts my hands like this, the person I told the secret to, come on now, come on, son. Yeah, you can't, come on, we got to do better than that. We have to do better than that. But he didn't. So are you doing better than that? Are you noticing your repeating patterns, your repeating health challenges, those little naggy things that happen all the time? You always lose your car in the parking lot. Is that you? Are you the one who gets lost on the way home? Are you the one who ends up attracting people who take advantage of you, steal your money? Do you fall for any kind of get rich quick scheme? What are the repeating patterns in your life? Do you get your feelings hurt all the time? Like I said, that was my thing. Just my feelings were hurt. Let me tell you, sometimes we're forced to change our patterns. So when I had a health scare, not a repeating one, a new health scare, a scary health scare, they let me know, I need you to keep your blood pressure down, keep your cholesterol down, and watch your blood sugar, because this little situation here could blow at any time. So you've got to pull it together. Well, then those things that caused me to cry or work myself up or, get my feelings hurt where I'm just in a tizzy, in a daze, all stressed out day after day after, I don't get to do that anymore. I got to figure it out. I need a new pattern. I need a new pattern. Sometimes that means new people. Sometimes that means how I handle it is different. We have to be mindful of those repeating patterns that are doing damage to us and doing damage to others. You don't want to be caught in the mouse loop. You don't. The rat race, you don't want to be caught in that. I remember one time listening to Dr. Miles Monroe, and he was talking about how we get on our path and we think we're going somewhere, but we're in a repeat and we didn't realize it. And he likened it to that kid that gets on the rocking horse in the store and they just rocking, just sweating, rocking like they're going somewhere, and they're not going anywhere. They're just rocking, just doing the motions, going through the motions. That's sometimes us with the repeating pattern. We're just circling, doing the same thing over and over and over again, falling in that same hole, on that same sidewalk, on that same street. We have to do better. We all have to do better. You want a different result, you got to take different actions. You have to say different words. Sometimes you got to say less words. You got to shut your mouth. You got whatever you need to do, pull it together, change the pattern. All right. That's tonight's Bible study. It was good to see you. Happy Thursday, and I will see you next Thursday for Bible Study Live with Connie.